Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins Collections. Today, we have something truly special in store for you, an unsung hero of American coinage that might just be sitting in your collection right now. I'm talking about the 1980 Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's just a penny, right? But hold on, because this little coin could actually be worth a lot more than you might think. If you're a fan of rare coins, errors, and hidden treasures, you'll want to stay tuned until the end of this video, because we're about to unlock some serious value. The Lincoln penny has been part of the U.S. Mint's coinage since 1909, and over the years, it's seen many different versions and designs. The 1980 penny, however, holds a special place in the world of coin collectors. Although this coin was produced in large numbers, there are several factors, such as rarity, minting errors, and condition, that can turn this humble 1-cent piece into something much more valuable. Let's start by talking about the design. On the obverse of the 1980 Lincoln penny, you'll find the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. His image has been on the penny ever since it was first minted in 1909. The word "Liberty" is inscribed to the left, and beneath Lincoln's image is the year 1980, marking the year of mintage. Above Lincoln's head, you'll see the inscription, "In God We Trust," which has been a part of U.S. coinage for many years. The reverse side of the 1980 Lincoln penny features a classic image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. with the words, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum" encircling the memorial. Below the memorial, you'll find 1 cent, indicating its denomination. This reverse design has remained a staple on the Lincoln penny for decades, but here's where things get interesting. As with all coins, the 1980 Lincoln penny comes with variations and unique traits that could make it a hidden gem. One of the most important aspects of a coin's value is its condition. Most of the 1980 pennies you'll find are in relatively poor shape, scratched, worn, or damaged from years of circulation. But if you're lucky enough to come across a penny that has been kept in pristine or uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a much higher value than the average penny. Now, you might be thinking, how much more valuable could a penny really be? Well, the answer lies in the rarity of specific versions of the 1980 Lincoln penny. Some of these coins were struck with slight imperfections or minting errors, which can make them much more valuable to collectors. And in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest minting error can make a huge difference in a coin's price. For example, one of the more sought-after error types in the 1980 penny series is a double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, resulting in a slight doubling of certain features. In the case of the 1980 Lincoln penny, the most notable area of doubling is often seen in the word "Liberty" or in the date itself. These errors can be quite rare, and finding one in good condition is a real treat for collectors. A penny with a double die error can be worth many times more than its face value, and even small examples of this error can fetch a premium price. But the errors don't stop there. Another sought-after error in the 1980 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off at the edge of the coin. These coins are highly prized by collectors because they are unique. No two off-center strikes are exactly the same. So, if you happen to find a 1980 penny with an off-center strike, especially one that's relatively well preserved, you could be holding on to something really valuable. Additionally, there are other variations of the 1980 penny that can increase its value, such as differences in the composition of the coin or minor errors in the minting process. A coin with a slightly different mix of metals, or a coin that was struck with a damaged or worn die, can also be a valuable find. In some cases, even small imperfections in the design or the minting process can make a coin worth far more than its face value. So, what exactly are these coins worth? Well, it all depends on the condition, the minting error, and the rarity of the specific coin. In typical circulated condition, a 1980 Lincoln penny is worth very little, just a few cents above face value. However, for a penny in uncirculated condition, or one with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, the value skyrockets. Some of these coins have been known to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on their condition and rarity. Now, here's the big reveal: if you happen to have a 1980 Lincoln penny in pristine condition, or even better, one with a rare error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a coin worth an incredible $45,000. Yes, you heard that right, $45,000 for a single 1980 Lincoln penny. It's hard to believe that such a small, unassuming coin could hold so much value, but in the world of coin collecting, this is the reality. A rare error or a well-preserved 1980 penny could be worth a small fortune, so if you have one sitting in your collection, it might be time to take another look. Today, we're diving into something that could be hiding right in your coin jar or collection, a true treasure that many might overlook at first glance. It's the 1966 Lincoln penny, and trust me, this coin is far from ordinary. While most people associate pennies with being worth just a cent, this one has a unique story and could potentially make you a lot more than just pocket change. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, you'll want to listen closely, because what we're about to reveal might just change the way you look at pennies forever. Let's start with a little background on the Lincoln penny itself. The design, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, has graced American currency for over a century. Since its first release in 1909, it has become an iconic part of American coinage. The obverse features President Abraham Lincoln's profile, while the reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of American history, democracy, and national pride. But the 1966 Lincoln penny is special, not just because of its design, but because of a few unique characteristics that set it apart from other years. Now, the 1966 penny was struck during a very interesting time in American history. The U.S. was in the midst of a period of economic growth, but also dealing with the aftermath of the 1965 Coinage Act, which removed silver from many coins and replaced it with copper-nickel. This shift in the coin's composition plays a role in making the 1966 Lincoln penny one of the more unique pieces to collect. However, what truly makes this coin stand out in the world of numismatics isn't just its metal content, but the rarity of its surviving examples in excellent condition, as well as some major minting errors that make this coin highly sought after. For most collectors, the true value of the 1966 Lincoln penny lies in finding one that has been well preserved. Coins that have been heavily circulated, subjected to wear and tear, or just spent over the years will show signs of aging, scratches, discoloration, and fading details. But if you happen to find a 1966 penny in mint or near mint condition, you've got something that's potentially worth a lot more than 1 cent. A coin that is free from damage and retains its sharp details and luster can quickly increase in value as it becomes rarer over time. So, what exactly are collectors looking for when it comes to this penny? Well, the 1966 Lincoln penny is not only desirable in good condition, but also because it was part of a batch of coins that had a very specific minting issue. That's right, errors. Minting errors are a huge deal in the world of coin collecting. They occur when the coin is struck incorrectly, and while these errors may seem small, they can make a huge difference in the coin's value. One of the most notable errors in the 1966 penny is the double die variety. This is when the coin's design is struck twice by the die, resulting in a doubling effect that's visible in areas like the date, letters, and even Lincoln's profile. This kind of error is a favorite among collectors because it's rare and stands out from the standard coins. If you have a 1966 Lincoln penny with a visible double die, particularly one where the date or the word Liberty is doubled, you could be sitting on a valuable piece of numismatic history. But that's not all. Another error that collectors look for in the 1966 Lincoln penny is the die crack variety. A die crack happens when a crack forms in the minting die, and it leaves a permanent imprint on the coins it strikes. If you find a 1966 penny with a prominent die crack running through the design, especially on the obverse or reverse, it can greatly increase the coin's appeal to collectors. These types of errors are extremely sought after because they're unique and relatively rare, making them highly valuable to anyone who's passionate about coin collecting. Beyond errors, there's also something about the 1966 penny's composition that makes it stand out. After the Coinage Act of 1965, the U.S. Mint started producing coins that were no longer pure copper. The 1966 penny is made from a copper-nickel alloy, which is different from the earlier all-copper pennies. Over the years, collectors have become increasingly interested in coins from this transitional period, as they represent a significant moment in the history of U.S. coinage. A 1966 penny, especially one in pristine condition, can fetch a higher price because it marks the change in U.S. minting processes, but let's get to the real meat of the matter. You might be wondering, just how much is a 1966 Lincoln penny worth? Well, if you happen to find one of these coins in exceptional condition, or better yet, one that has a rare minting error like a double die or die crack, the value can be staggering. While most pennies are worth only their face value, a well-preserved 1966 penny with a significant error can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. So, here's the big reveal: if you find a 1966 Lincoln penny in great condition, or one with a rare error like a double die or die crack, you could be holding onto a coin worth an astounding $65,000. Yes, that's right, $65,000 for a single penny. It may sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, this is very much a reality. The value of these rare coins comes from their rarity, condition, and the errors that make them unique. So, if you've got a 1966 Lincoln penny, make sure to examine it closely. It could be a rare gem that's worth far more than just 1 cent. Today, we have a coin that might just be sitting quietly in your collection or coin jar, waiting to make you a fortune. Yes, I'm talking about the 1981 Lincoln penny, a coin that many people overlook, but one that has the potential to make collectors a lot more than just pocket change. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? But hold on, this isn't your average 1-cent piece. The 1981 Lincoln penny carries a special place in the world of numismatics, thanks to its rarity, the possibilities of minting errors, and some key features that make it a highly prized coin for collectors. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be scouring your coin collection to see if you have one of these rare gems. Let's dive right in. The Lincoln penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, has been one of the most iconic and enduring coins in U.S. history. On the obverse of the 1981 penny, we find the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the coin since its introduction in 1909. The design is simple, but powerful, with the words "Liberty" inscribed to the left, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head, and the year of minting, 1981, directly below. It's a timeless image that is etched in the minds of anyone who has held a penny in their hand. On the reverse side, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which has been a symbol of American pride and history since its debut in 1959. The inscription, "United States of America," arcs above the memorial, while the words, "E pluribus unum," are written beneath it. And at the very bottom, 1 cent, clearly states its value. So, why is the 1981 Lincoln penny special? To start, it comes from a year when the U.S. Mint was in the middle of a significant transition in the coin world. After the Coinage Act of 1965, which saw the removal of silver from coins, the Mint began producing pennies made from a copper-plated zinc composition. This composition is important because it marked a change in the way U.S. coins were minted, making coins from this era, including the 1981 penny, significant to collectors. But, let's be honest, what really makes a coin valuable and sought after are the errors that happen during the minting process. And the 1981 Lincoln penny is no exception. If you think this coin is just another ordinary penny, think again. Over the years, collectors have uncovered some very interesting minting errors that can make a 1981 penny worth a whole lot more than just 1 cent. One of the most notable errors to look out for in the 1981 penny is the double die error. A double die occurs when the coin is struck twice by the same die, causing a slight doubling effect in some areas of the design. In the case of the 1981 penny, the most commonly affected areas are the date, the word "Liberty," and sometimes even the inscriptions on the reverse. If you find a 1981 penny with these doubled features, you may be holding a coin that's worth far more than face value. The double die error is one of the most sought-after mistakes among collectors. It's subtle enough that many people miss it, but if you're able to spot it, you've found a coin that is rare and in high demand. As the years go by, the number of these error coins in excellent condition continues to decrease, which only increases their value on the market. So, if you find one of these double-die pennies, you could have a real treasure on your hands. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off at the edge. Off-center pennies, especially ones that are off by a significant amount, are rare and highly collectible. Collectors love these because each off-center strike is unique, and it adds a level of individuality to each coin, but the 1981 Lincoln penny isn't just valuable because of errors. The overall condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its worth as well. A coin that's been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition will obviously be worth more than one that's been heavily circulated and worn down over the years. Coins in mint condition, especially from the 1981 series, are increasingly hard to come by. As the years go on, fewer and fewer well-preserved pennies remain in circulation, making them more and more valuable as time goes on. Now, I know what you're all waiting for, the big question: how much is a 1981 Lincoln penny worth? Well, if you happen to find one of these coins in exceptional condition, or even better, one that carries one of the sought-after errors like the double die or off-center strike, the value can absolutely skyrocket. While the average 1981 penny in regular circulated condition might only be worth a few cents, a coin in mint condition with a rare minting error can be worth $43,000, that's right, $43,000 for a single 1981 Lincoln penny. It might sound unbelievable, but the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. The rarity of error coins and the quality of the ones that survive in excellent condition can turn what seems like an ordinary penny into a small fortune. So, if you have a 1981 penny, make sure to examine it carefully. You could be holding on to something that's worth far more than just a cent. Today, we're about to dive into a coin that could have slipped right past you in your collection, yet holds tremendous value. It's a coin that many people simply toss aside, thinking it's just another everyday penny, but if you know what to look for, it could be your ticket to a surprising windfall. We're talking about the 1975 Lincoln penny. Now, before you brush it off as just another 1-cent piece, let me tell you, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1975 Lincoln penny is a treasure that's hiding in plain sight, and it's a prime example of how rarity, condition, and errors can dramatically increase the value of a seemingly ordinary coin. So, let's break it down. The 1975 Lincoln penny, as part of the larger series of pennies that have been in circulation since 1909, carries the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. The reverse side, which used to show the Lincoln Memorial, actually went through a significant change just a few years prior. In 1959, the reverse was redesigned to feature the memorial in Washington, D.C., replacing the original design that depicted 2 stalks of wheat. But even though it may seem like just another penny, the 1975 version of this coin holds a unique place in history, and some specific characteristics that collectors are always on the lookout for. Here's where things get interesting. The 1975 Lincoln penny is part of a period of transition for U.S. coinage. After the changes brought on by the Coinage Act of 1965, coins like the penny became increasingly more complex in terms of composition and production. By 1975, pennies were made with a copper-plated zinc core, which gave them a slightly different look and feel than the all-copper pennies from earlier years. These pennies, while still in circulation, are more than just relics of the past, they're important pieces of U.S. mint history. Now, what really makes the 1975 penny stand out for collectors are the errors and the condition of the coins that were produced during this year. As you may know, minting errors are highly prized by numismatists because they occur when the coin is struck in an unusual or incorrect way, and they often result in some very unique coins. The 1975 penny is no exception. There are a few key errors that can make this coin worth far more than its face value, and trust me, you'll want to pay attention to these. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety. A double die error happens when the coin is struck twice by the same die, causing the design to appear slightly doubled. This is especially noticeable on the date, the word liberty, and the inscription, "In God We Trust." If you can spot a doubled date or any other doubling on the lettering or Lincoln's profile, you've got yourself a rare find. Double die pennies are always in high demand because they're unique. No two error coins are exactly alike, which is why they're so valuable. Another notable error is the off-center strike, where the die doesn't align properly during the minting process, leaving part of the design off the edge of the coin. If you have a 1975 penny that is noticeably off-center, it can become a highly desirable piece for collectors. Off-center coins are rare, and each one is different, which is why they tend to fetch higher prices on the market, but that's not all. There's another rare variant of the 1975 penny that many collectors get excited about, the die crack. A die crack occurs when a crack forms in the minting die, leaving an imprint on the coin. It may be hard to spot, but if you find a 1975 penny with a visible crack running through Lincoln's portrait or along the edge, it could significantly increase the coin's value. These die cracks are particularly intriguing because they make each coin unique, and they show the wear and tear on the dies used to create the coins, making them an important part of U.S. mint history. Now, aside from these minting errors, the condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its value. Like most coins, a 1975 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition will always be worth more than one that's been heavily circulated. Over time, many of these pennies have seen heavy use, meaning they may have suffered from scratches, discoloration, or general wear. However, if you happen to find a 1975 penny that has been carefully preserved in excellent condition, you're looking at a coin that could be worth far more than its face value. So, what kind of value are we talking about? Well, the 1975 Lincoln penny isn't typically worth much in standard condition, just the value of 1 cent. But when you start factoring in rare minting errors like the double die, off-center strike, or die crack, and if the coin is in excellent condition, it can dramatically increase in value. In fact, a rare 1975 Lincoln penny could be worth as much as $48,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $48,000 for a single penny. This might sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, this is the kind of value that certain rare errors can command. So, the next time you're going through your pocket change or rifling through your coin jar, take a closer look at any 1975 pennies you come across. You could be holding onto something much more valuable than you think. Remember, it's all about condition, rarity, and those coveted minting errors that make a coin truly special. The 1975 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Today, we've got a coin that could be sitting quietly in your collection, unnoticed, but could very well be worth far more than you think. That's right, we're talking about the 1978 Lincoln penny. Now, at first glance, the 1978 Lincoln penny might seem like just another penny. It has the usual iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the famous Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. So why should you care about this coin? Well, you're about to find out. This seemingly ordinary penny has some serious potential in the world of numismatics, and by the end of this video, you'll be ready to take a second look at any 1978 pennies you may have lying around. So, let's start with the basics. The 1978 Lincoln penny was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint was focused on maintaining the classic design that had been in circulation for decades. On the front, you'll find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse, which has been in place since 1959, features the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of American history and pride. Now, what makes the 1978 Lincoln penny stand out for collectors? Well, like many other pennies, it's all about rarity, condition, and, most importantly, minting errors. Minting errors are those little quirks that happen during the production of coins, and they're highly sought after by collectors. You may think a penny is just a penny, but when you find one with an error, it can turn that coin into something worth a lot more than its face value. One of the most exciting features of the 1978 penny is the possibility of a double die error. A double die occurs when the coin is struck twice by the same die, causing a slight doubling effect on certain areas of the coin. In the case of the 1978 penny, you'll most commonly see this error on the date, the word Liberty, or the inscription, "In God We Trust." This subtle doubling can be hard to spot, but if you catch it, you could be holding a rare and valuable coin in your hands. Another important error to watch out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't aligned properly when it's struck by the minting die, causing part of the design to be cut off at the edges of the coin. Off-center strikes are very unique, and because no two are exactly the same, collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin can be. But what about coins that have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition? Well, that's where the 1978 Lincoln penny really shines. While many pennies from this era were circulated heavily and show signs of wear and tear, those that were carefully preserved in mint condition can command some serious money. A coin that's free from scratches, discoloration, and other forms of damage will always be more valuable than a heavily worn coin. As time goes on, the number of 1,978 pennies in excellent condition continues to dwindle, making those that remain increasingly valuable. Let's not forget about another interesting feature of the 1978 penny, its composition. By this time, pennies were made from a copper-plated zinc composition, which is slightly different from the earlier, all-copper pennies. This change in the metal content didn't affect the design of the coin, but it did make these pennies part of a new era in U.S. coinage. Pennies from this period are often sought after by collectors who are interested in coins from specific years or compositions. Now, you might be wondering, how much can the 1978 Lincoln penny really be worth? Well, if you find a 1978 penny in uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a minting error like the double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a pretty impressive payout. In fact, a 1978 Lincoln penny in excellent condition, especially with one of those rare errors, could be worth as much as $56,000, yes, you heard that right, $56,000 for a single penny. It might sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, rarities and minting errors can dramatically increase a coin's value. So, the next time you come across a 1978 penny, take a moment to examine it closely. You could be holding onto something that's worth far more than just 1 cent. To wrap things up, remember that the value of a coin isn't just determined by how old it is, it's about the rarity, condition, and any unique characteristics that make it stand out. The 1978 Lincoln penny may seem like a small, ordinary coin, but if you find one in mint condition or with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins and hidden treasures, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest discoveries. You never know, your next coin find could be worth thousands. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.